Hello and welcome to Insights from an Autistic. I'm Arman Khodaei. Today we're going to be talking about diet and food sensory issues. So I have been getting like at least 2 or 3 different parents asking me to please talk about food sensory issues. And now this is a topic I cannot be a true expert on because I've never really, to my knowledge, I've never had food sensory issues. Now there are some foods, like they're really hard for me to chew on. Like I have kind of sensitive teeth at times, but like different food textures and things. Like if a food is too slimy or too chewy or rubbery or however people describe certain foods, it doesn't really bother me. Like I like the different food textures and things like that. Now I don't like really hard things, like a really hard piece of beef or jawbreaker, something that's very hard to chew on. I really do not like those type of foods. So I don't know if that's a sensory thing or just that it's too hard and it just doesn't appeal to me because of how hard it is. But like rubbery things like squid or kind of rubbery candy, I like that. It's cool. But I've had people that don't have autism be like, oh, that's too rubbery. It feels like plastic in my mouth, which to me doesn't feel like plastic. Like, ooh, it's too slimy. It feels like slime to me, and it doesn't really. That stuff doesn't bother me. So parents have asking, well, how do I help my child eat certain foods, especially if they have these food sensory issues? Well, there could be different reasons for the food sensory issues. For one, it might be too painful to eat. Like there's touch sensory issues, there's sound sensory issues, and like certain sounds, like the sound of markers, painful to me. Dental touch, sometimes it's a little bit too much for me. So it might be that a certain food texture causes pain. Now this is theoretical. I do not know for certain. I'm just having a theory. Or maybe the food, maybe it looks a certain way and it's unappealing because of the way it looks. Maybe it looks like vomit to them or something like that. Or sometimes, now I sometimes have this problem with certain foods, like the smell of it is nauseous and kind of makes me want to vomit or something, or the taste of it doesn't taste right. But that's like a taste issue. I don't know if that's a sensory issue. Coconut juice, for example, I cannot stand the taste of coconut juice. It makes me want to vomit. So I don't know if that's normal or not. But that's something that happens for me. So how do you help your child with that? Well, maybe blend it up in a blender. If you want them to eat beef, blend it up. Maybe blend it up with their vegetables too. That's my best suggestion. Get a blender and blend the food up. Maybe it'll be more appealing then. I don't know. Or maybe it'll be less appealing because maybe then it'll look really weird. So if you don't eat the food's an issue, that's a thought. Maybe you have to really cut things up, make it smaller. Maybe you have to dye the food, make it look a different color. I'm not sure about dyes because dyes do have some odd chemicals in them, but everything has food coloring in it anyway, and in America people eat food coloring like crazy, even though they're not necessarily aware of it. But it's a thought. I would really try the blender idea. So that's about food sensory issues. Now diet. What's a good diet for autism? Okay, I think with autism, sugar, the things that everybody else affects to, we sometimes get more affected by, the sugar, caffeine, those type of things, where it can make other kids hyper, it can make us super hyper. I don't know about gluten because I haven't had the opportunity to do that. At some point, when I'm living independently, I want to try a gluten-free diet and see how that affects me. See how well I do if I take a couple of months off gluten and see if it has any positive effects on me. Now milk has a definite impact on me. And I think it's the same with many other people with autism. Now because I'm so self-aware, I can be cognitively aware of what's happening when I have milk. So in the past, when I was a child, if I had milk, I would be very violent. I have a very violent temperament. I would call my mom and brother's names. I would, use words I wouldn't use. I would sometimes bite and kick. And also, according to my mom, my skin became much more pale, so it was a very pale white when I had milk. When she took me off, my skin had more pigmentation in it. Nowadays, when I have milk, if I have milk about a couple hours later, I'll notice my thoughts turning to depressing thoughts. So there's a definite cognitive change, or my thoughts, I'll start having these thoughts that I normally don't have. I usually have a very positive outlook, so I'll suddenly have these, I'll start like feeling bad for myself and start feeling pity for myself, and so I have a very negative outlook, which I don't normally have, and that's after having milk. And I'll be like, all right, Arman, you had milk 2 hours ago, you're having these thoughts that you haven't had in like 2 weeks. Why are you saying that I'm a total loser, blah blah blah? That doesn't make any sense, Arman. You're not like that. And of course, so luckily I'm very self-aware and aware of my thoughts, but in the past, as a child, I wasn't, and I don't think many other people with autism are either, to realize that. But I do know that milk has an impact on me. I'm 100% positive about that. So trying to remove milk might be help. Definitely limit the sugar, coffee intake. Well, why should a kid have coffee? But soda with caffeine, things like that can have a definite impact. So that is what I have to say about diet and food sensory issues. Like I said, food sensory issues are not necessarily a big deal for me. So hopefully my theories and everything have been of use. I thank you for watching this video and wish everybody an awesome day of awesomeness. Thank you.